Ruben Rodriguez. School name is Progressive Scientific Fighting Arts, and I am the head instructor and a full instructor in Jeet Kune Do under Paul Vunak. Jeet Kune Do was Bruce Lee's system that he created back in the late 60s, well, from 64 all the way to 73 until his death. It was a system of fighting which he felt that needed to be modified because of the traditional Wing Chun that he came from. He felt that the traditional Wing Chun wasn't enough when he had to deal with the bigger, stronger American people when he came down to the San Francisco area. And along with Dan and Osanto, they both together, they worked on techniques that seemed to work better for them. Jeet Kune Do actually means way of the intercepting fist, meaning before the other person would ever get a shot off, Bruce Lee would land his shot even before the guy could even get it off. So that he had that speed to do something like that. What we teach now are his concepts, the idea of Bruce Lee's training, of his methods, of his ideas of what he felt was better for us as martial artists. He felt that we needed to grow as martial artists and to find our own way, because not every technique that'll work for me would work for you, and not every technique that works for you would work for me. So we all have to find our own way, and that was mostly Bruce Lee's concept of what he felt fighting was all about. The traditional way of karate and kung fu was that they would do a technique while one person stood there and the other person would do the technique, and with no resistance. But when it came down to really working in the street, they would have problems with that because they weren't doing it against a resisting opponent. So they were getting this false sense of security. Jeet Kune Do, like I said, everything is tested. Everything we teach has either been proven or it's been done in the street, which is mostly what it's for. You know, Jeet Kune Do is all about street fighting and self-defense for the street. But for the people who want to compete in MMA or whatever, we modify the system just so that we can get them to compete. MMA is so popular with the teenagers right now, and the guy late, maybe the 20 and 30-year-old guy. So most of them, again, because of the USC and all that, I think the MMA is just more popular right now, the jiu-jitsu part of the training. But again, what people don't understand was that the Jeet Kune Do was actually a mixed martial art itself, because we have different arts that combine to make Jeet Kune Do. So it's, you know, whether they want Jeet Kune Do or jiu-jitsu, it falls into the same category. We're one of the few schools that teach everything here. We teach stand-up, we teach ground, we teach the whole concept of fighting. Most schools you'll see they're mostly Brazilian jiu-jitsu, or they're Muay Thai, or they're stand-up fighting. There's very few schools in the Valley that actually teach both combined, and I'm proud to say that we're one of the few that does. For one point, I mean, Bruce Lee was not a traditionalist. He was someone who believed in progressing, and hence our name, Progressive Scientific Fighting. If I learn something new tomorrow and I feel like it's worth teaching to my students, I will teach it to my students. And the same with my students. I have my instructors that are under me who sometimes get to train or research other systems, and they bring it to the mat, and we allow it. We learn from each other. The whole point is for us to grow together, and not to ever stay stagnant. We make sure that we're always learning and progressing. So definitely we welcome the new wave. One thing that I've always told my students is that when they come here, they don't get to fight MMA until they've been with me at least 2 years. They learn to box first, they learn to grapple, they learn to kickbox, and then we combine it all together. Most other schools, not to put anyone down, but they allow fighters to fight after 7 or 8 months of training. That's not enough time. These guys, when they come train with me, their hands should be good enough that if a boxer were to come in and ask to box with them, that they'd be able to spar with him and be competitive. That if a kickboxer were to come in, that my boy would be able to compete with him, and that if a grappler comes in, that my boy would be able to handle him also on the ground. So when you combine all those three together with that kind of level of fighting, you get the clean technique that people are talking about. And I'm grateful for that. I'm glad that people are seeing that. I want them to see that. It's a system that we've paid. These guys have paid the price. I mean, it took them 3 years before they ever got in that ring, but they were ready because they were really prepared. Well, every system is good. Every system that's out there is effective. Muay Thai has a lot to offer. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has a lot to offer. What Jeet Kune Do did was we just combined everything together. We stole from everyone and kept it, and we made this is where the system is. But people have to remember that the person who's got the best attributes is the best fighter. The guy who's got the speed, the power, the heart. A lot of people never consider that an attribute, but the heart, you got to have heart. If when you get hit, maybe you get a broken nose while you're in the ring, are you going to quit? I mean, do you have that heart to continue to fight? That's what makes a difference. It's really, the system itself goes out the window when you see stuff like that.